Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXP. Now listen guys, Bitcoin halving is scheduled to take place towards the end of this week. So what I decided to do is guys, release a standalone episode discussing everything regarding Bitcoin. Now it's really important to note guys, that Bitcoin halving is actually coded and it is scheduled to occur every 210th block, so roughly around every 4 years. And this Bitcoin halving guys will continue in the fashion until the final supply of 21 Bitcoin is reached. Now at this point of time guys, it is assumed that the last Bitcoin will be mined in 2140. Now so far as Bitcoin halving for this particular week is concerned guys, the next Bitcoin halving is expected to occur on April 20th, so it's going to be 420. That is a really iconic date, isn't it? And after this guys, the amount of Bitcoin created with each new block will fall from 3.12 Bitcoin from 6.25. And this goes back to the whole nature of demand and supply, isn't it? And the daily issuance guys will actually reduce from 900 Bitcoins to 450 Bitcoin. And this is one of the genius moves by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now Bitcoin miners guys are definitely excited by this, because what that means is the supply is going to be reduced, and it's basic economics, isn't it? Once the supply gets reduced, the demand is definitely going to pump up to the moon. Now so far as the block number is concerned, the block number to keep in mind is 840,000. That is also 420 multiplied by 2, isn't it? So really iconic date. Now in this particular episode guys, what I want to do is, I want to just go and revisit the Bitcoin white paper. And then guys, I want to compare it with Austrian Economics. And I also want to touch base on UTXO, that is Unspent Transaction Output. And I'll also go ahead and explain Lightning on Liquid Network. And finally guys, towards the end, I'll go ahead and touch base on NFTs on Bitcoin blockchain. And that is the whole ordinal inscription hype, isn't it? So what I want to do is guys, when I'm talking about the Bitcoin white paper, I'll go ahead and give out some basic level introduction. I'll go ahead and explain how the decentralization or distributed consensus works, how the transactions actually work, what is proof of work, the supply limit, privacy, and quite a lot of other. And then guys, I'll go ahead and compare it with Austrian Economics, and I'll go ahead and talk about the whole decentralization or distributed nature of Austrian Economics. We'll go ahead and talk about how Bitcoin merges with individual sovereignty, and is Bitcoin sound money, and we'll go ahead and look at it how it merges with market process. Now regarding UTXOs guys, that is Unspent Transaction Output, I'll go ahead and discuss what UTXO is, how does it actually benefit blockchain network, and how one can analyze UTXOs. Now look guys, so far as UTXOs is concerned, it does give you the psychological behavior of the market so far as Bitcoin is concerned. You can analyze the buying and spending patterns and quite a lot of other. Now regarding Lightning Network and Liquid Network, a lot of them guys in the Bitcoin space and definitely in the cryptocurrency space are not aware about it. So I'll go ahead and explain what Lightning Network is, what are the use cases, and quite a lot of other. And guys, I'll also go ahead and talk about Taproot and Snort signature. Now it's really important to note guys, that before implementing Taproot and Snort signature, ECDSA was being used in Bitcoin blockchain. And ECDSA stands for Elliptic Curve Digital Signature Algorithm, but that thing is no longer being used by Bitcoin blockchain. So I'll very briefly touch base on what Taproot and Snort signature is, and its impact and implication. And then guys, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and give out a very basic level information on what ordinal inscription is, and how it is connected to ancient times, and then we'll go ahead and look at ordinal inscription in the UTXO model, and what are the benefits of UTXOs keeping in mind ordinal inscription. So let me know guys what your thoughts are, and if you do have any feedback or suggestions, mention them in the comments below. Now before we start guys, I do have an important message, so check this out. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE, and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. They'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8 and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE, and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE, and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee a Day aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE, and Middle East region. Now, before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast, and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red, and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well. And Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously. And they're focusing on 3 Ps. That is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Tough Mudder Arabia, guys, they are putting some really iconic events in the Middle East, and there is one final event of the season that takes place on the 20th of April in the iconic location called as Al Marjan in Ras Al Khaimah. And the final event of the season, guys, is not going to be an ordinary event. They're going to be having some really cool obstacles. And so far as Tough Mudder is concerned, guys, they create hardcore obstacle courses designed to test your all-round strength, stamina, and mental grit. And with the most innovative courses and millions of participants around the world, it is the premier challenge series in the world. Now look at Tough Mudder Arabia, they did put out, if not one of the biggest events in the world of obstacle course race, and they did that with the highest prize money in the history of obstacle course race. And what better way to end the series by having one final event on the 20th of April in the iconic location. Now look, guys, one of my goals is to complete 100 Tough Mudder, and I'm very close to getting there. Now if you want to go ahead and sign up for this event, the registration link is in the show notes below. So what are you waiting for, guys? Get your friends, get your family members, get your colleagues. The link to the registration for Tough Mudder Arabia on the 20th of April is in the show notes below. And if you go through the link, guys, there is a cool discount code mentioned in the show notes below as well. So hopefully, guys, I see you at the Tough Mudder event. Next, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race-Pace Podcast. So check out the Race-Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race-Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge. And this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by discussing the Bitcoin white paper. But before that guys, I wanted to ask a quick question. How would you guys define Bitcoin? Now if you go through the Bitcoin white paper guys, it clearly states that Bitcoin is peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And that, to be honest guys, could be the definition of Bitcoin, isn't it? But according to me, Bitcoin is the purest form of money. Now if you do have any other definition of Bitcoin, mention them in the comments below. Now let's go ahead and delve into the Bitcoin white paper guys. So what I'm going to do guys is I'm just going to give you a snapshot of what the Bitcoin white paper is. Now when you talk about Bitcoin guys, the best analogy is to compare it with traditional money or fiat currency, isn't it? And traditional money systems do actually rely on centralized authorities like bank or governments to maintain and regulate currency. However guys, this centralized control can actually lead to inflation, and with the Biden administration, a lot of money printing, corruption, and even limited access to financial services for some people. Now Satoshi Nakamoto guys, he did actually see these problems and he aimed to create a system that doesn't rely on trust in any single entity. Now it's really important to note guys that Bitcoin wasn't the first cryptocurrency. There were cryptocurrencies that existed before Bitcoin, but what Satoshi Nakamoto did, he went in and solved the double spending problem. Now before Bitcoin guys, there was Hashcash, there was eCash, there was B-Money, but there was a massive problem and that was double spending problem. And as the word indicates guys, double spending means the same currency can be spent twice. So what Satoshi Nakamoto did is he essentially combined cryptography, mathematics and hashing algorithm, and using all these 3 things guys, he did actually go and solve the double spending problem. So whenever guys you talk about Bitcoin, you need to understand that it did actually solve the double spending problem. But what is really important guys is that Bitcoin is so-called distributed or decentralized form of working, and Bitcoin achieves decentralization, or distributed how I like to call it, by operating on peer-to-peer network. And that is the definition of Bitcoin, isn't it? Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So instead of centralized authority controlling transactions, every participant in the network has a copy of the entire transaction, and that is known as the Bitcoin blockchain. And this eliminates the need for intermediaries like bank, which can reduce transaction cost and increase efficiency. Now, so far as transaction is concerned guys, you need to understand that Bitcoin allows users to send and receive payments directly without going through financial institutions, and each transaction is verified by network nodes through cryptography and recorded on the blockchain. And this transparency ensures that transactions are secure and cannot be tampered with. And what Bitcoin does is guys, it uses a consensus mechanism called as proof of work. And to ensure fraudulent transactions and ensure the security of the network, Bitcoin uses a consensus mechanism called as proof of work. And miners guys who are participants in the network compete to solve complex mathematical puzzle, and the first miner to go and solve the puzzle adds a new block of transactions to the blockchain, and they are rewarded with the newly created Bitcoin. and guys, from the 20th of onwards, the newly created Bitcoin or rewards will be reduced in half. And this is a genius move by Satoshi Nakamoto, isn't it? And because the miners are rewarded with new Bitcoin, guys, this process also regulates the issuance of new Bitcoins and also helps maintain the integrity of the network. Now, so far as the supply limit is concerned, guys, here's the beautiful thing regarding Bitcoin. Unlike fiat currencies, which can be printed indefinitely by central banks, Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million coins, and you could argue that this cannot be changed. And this scarcity, guys, is built into the protocol and is achieved through a process called as halving, where the number of Bitcoin halving generated every 10 minutes is reduced by half approximately every 4 years, and this limited supply is intended to prevent inflation and also preserve the value of the currency over time. And that's one of the reasons, guys, if you look at the value of Bitcoin since its inception, it is definitely moving only towards one direction, isn't it? And with the supply halving kicking in, I'm pretty much sure there's only one way so far as the price of Bitcoin is concerned. And this is the basic of demand and supply, isn't it? Now, so far as privacy is concerned, guys, Bitcoin transactions are recorded on the blockchain and can be viewed by absolutely anyone, and the identities of the party involved are not directly revealed. Instead, guys, the users are identified by the public addresses, which are cryptographic hashes of the public keys, and this provides a level of privacy, and it is extremely difficult to link a Bitcoin address to real-world identity without additional information. Now look, guys, the only way the identity could be known is when there is an exit point, or if someone wants to go ahead and exchange their Bitcoin to fiat currencies. In that case, they go to a regular cryptocurrency exchange, and these centralized exchanges, guys, they go ahead and ask for your KYC, isn't it? And that is the only time the identity will be known. Now look, guys, it's really important to understand. If you go through the Bitcoin white paper, the very second line states, the main benefits are lost if a central intermediary or entity is required to prevent double spending problem, and this is one of the reasons why some of the Bitcoin OGs or maximalists, they don't want to go ahead and use centralized exchanges, and they want to stick to the ethos of open blockchain. Now, so far as open blockchain is concerned, guys, Andreas Antonopoulos, he has actually popularized the pillars of open blockchain, and this is extremely relevant so far as Bitcoin blockchain is concerned. So he talks about open source, and the codes of Bitcoin blockchain, guys, are completely open source for absolutely anyone to go ahead and validate it. Now the next pillar, guys, of Bitcoin open blockchain is censorship resistant, which means, guys, Bitcoin transactions cannot be absolutely censored by absolutely anyone. The third one is borderless. What this means, guys, is that Bitcoin can be used absolutely anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, guys, Bitcoin transactions have been done in space as well, and that is the true definition of borderless, isn't it? The fourth one, guys, is permissionless. Now look, guys, when you talk about Bitcoin, the transactions should be peer-to-peer, and you do not need any permission for absolutely anyone. But let's say for the banking industry, you need to go ahead and validate your identification, you need to go ahead and show your KYC and quite a lot of other. But in case of Bitcoin, guys, you do not need permission from absolutely anybody. Even a 5-year-old can go ahead and use Bitcoin. Now the next point, guys, is neutral. And what that means, guys, is the value of using Bitcoin is exactly the same. Let's say if you were to use it in Israel, if you were to use it in Palestine, if you were to use it in US or even United Arab Emirates. And finally, guys, the next pillar of Bitcoin and open blockchain is publicly verifiable. And you need to understand, guys, that all Bitcoin blockchain are completely verifiable by absolutely anyone. Now, when you talk about central bank digital currency, guys, we cannot go ahead and verify these transactions. And there will be a centralized entity who will go ahead and verify these transactions. And because there is a centralized entity, they are in a position to go ahead and do double spending, isn't it? And that is exactly what Satoshi Nakamoto solved by merging cryptography, hashing algorithm, and mathematics. Now all this thing, guys, is actually mentioned in the Bitcoin white paper. Now so far as the pillars of open blockchain is concerned, guys, Andreas Antonopoulos, the greatest educator in Bitcoin, he's gone ahead and popularized the pillars of open blockchain. So what I'd really recommend you to do is go to YouTube, guys, and he just might be the greatest educator in Bitcoin probably in the entire planet. Now, guys, let me go ahead and discuss how does Bitcoin principles resonate with Austrian economics. Now, so far as Austrian economics is concerned, guys, I'd like to talk about decentralization, individual sovereignty, sound money and market process. Now, Austrian economists, guys, such as Friedrich Hayek, often criticize central control in economic systems, arguing that it leads to inefficiencies, misallocation of resources, and lack of individual autonomy. And Bitcoin's decentralization or distributed nature aligns with this critique, and by operating on peer-to-peer network without a centralized authority, guys, Bitcoin avoids the pitfalls associated with centralized control, and decisions about the issuance of currency and validation of transactions are made collectively by the network participants rather than a single authority. Now, so far as individual sovereignty is concerned, Austrian economics emphasizes the importance of individual sovereignty and also property rights, and economics like Ludwig von Mises argue that individuals have the freedom to make their own economic choices without interference from centralized authorities. Now look, guys, if you're someone who is watching UFC 300 did actually take place last weekend, and it was, if not one of the biggest events in the history of UFC and mixed martial arts. And one of the fighters, guys, that is Manny Moicano, he did actually mention about Mises, and he urged people to go ahead and understand it, and he also told them to go ahead and buy a lot of Bitcoin. So when you talk about Bitcoin, guys, it is all about individual sovereignty, isn't it? And Bitcoin embodies this principle by allowing users to have full control over their funds. And with Bitcoin, individuals can send and receive payments without relying on banks or other intermediaries. And this empowers users to manage their wealth independently without the fear of censorship or confiscation. Now, so far sound money is concerned, guys, Austrian economics advocate for sound money principles, which include a currency's durability, scarcity, portability, divisibility, and uniformity, and they argue that sound money is essential for maintaining stable economic conditions and preserving the value of the wealth over time. And Bitcoin, guys, shares many of these characteristics. Its limited supply of 21 million coins, enforced by protocol, ensures scarcity similar to precious metals like gold. Additionally, guys, Bitcoin's decentralized nature and cryptographic security makes it durable and resistant to manipulation by centralized authorities. Now, so far as market process is concerned, guys, Austrian economics emphasizes the importance of the market process in allocating resources efficiently, and economics like Karl Menger and Friedrich Hayek argued that decentralized markets facilitate better decision-making and even resource allocation compared to centralized planning. And Bitcoin, guys, operates on a market-based system where supply and demand determine its price, and participants in Bitcoin ecosystem freely buy, sell, and exchange the cryptocurrency, thereby driving innovation and competition. Now, this decentralized market process, guys, aligns with the Austrian view that spontaneous order emerges from individual actions within a free market. Now, look, guys, this idea definitely sounds great, but what happens if trillion-dollar companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, they go and buy a lot of Bitcoin? Unfortunately, guys, I hate saying this, then the whole promise of decentralization kind of gets manipulated, isn't it? Now look, BlackRock and Vanguard, they definitely have the right to go and buy all of these things, but these are trillion-dollar companies that we are talking about, and these are thoughts that we need to ponder as well. Now overall, guys, so far as Austrian economics and Bitcoin is concerned, Bitcoin's principles of decentralization, individual sovereignty, and sound money, and reliance on market process resonate strongly with the core tenets of Austrian economics. Both Bitcoin and Austrian economics challenge the traditional paradigm of centralized control in finance and advocate for decentralized, individual-centric approach to economic organization. Now let me know, guys, what are your thoughts on this. Now, guys, what I want to go ahead and talk about is UTXOs, also called as Unspent Transaction Output. Now, a lot of people, guys, don't really understand what UTXO is, so let me try to firstly give a very basic explanation on how UTXO is. So let's say, guys, if you have a wallet, and let's say if you have $10, $5, $50, and some change, and if you want to go ahead and make a purchase, guys, of let's say $12.50, what the wallet would do is they will take all of your changes, they will go ahead and put it onto the blockchain, then they will go ahead and deduct the $12.50, and then the remaining funds are sent back into your wallet. So the funds that you get back, guys, that is called as UTXO or Unspent Transaction Output. But let's say in case of fiat currencies, guys, let's say for instance if you have $10, $5, $50 and some change, if you want to go ahead and spend let's say just $12.50, what you would do is from your wallet, you will just take $10, you will just take the $2 change and then the 50 cents and then give it, isn't it? The $50 will remain in the wallet. That does not work so far as Bitcoin blockchain is concerned. What happens in Bitcoin blockchain, guys? All of your changes actually taken, merged together, sent into the Bitcoin blockchain, and then you receive change, and that change is called as UTXOs. So far as Unspent Transaction Output is concerned, guys, in blockchain terminology, it refers to the output of transactions that has not been spent yet and can be used as an input in a new transaction. So in simpler terms, when a transaction occurs in Bitcoin blockchain network, it creates outputs which are essentially the change from the transaction, and these outputs, guys, are recorded as UTXOs, and each UTXO represents a certain amount of cryptocurrency and is associated with a specific address on the blockchain. And later on, guys, I'll go ahead and discuss where does ordinals fit in. So let's say, guys, when a user wants to make a new transaction, they typically use one or more UTXOs as inputs to go ahead and fund the new transaction, and the network then verifies that the UTXOs being spent are valid and have not been spent before, and if the transaction is valid, guys, the UTXOs used as inputs are marked as spent, and the new UTXOs are created as outputs, which can then be used in future transactions. Now, UTXOs, guys, play a crucial role in maintaining the integrity and security of the blockchain network by preventing double spending and ensuring that transactions are valid. And that is one of the reasons, guys, it's really important to truly understand what double spending is. And UTXOs, guys, are fundamental concept in blockchain technology and are used in various cryptocurrency networks such as Bitcoin and even Litecoin. Now, so far as UTXOs are concerned, guys, they offer several benefits in the context of blockchain network. So let me go ahead and very briefly touch base on 5 core areas, guys. That is security, scalability, privacy, flexibility, and simplified accounting. Now, so far security is concerned, guys, UTXOs help prevent double spending, a critical security concern in decentralized systems, and since each UTXO can only be spent once, it eliminates the risk of spending the same funds multiple times, ensuring the integrity of transactions. And so far scalability is concerned, UTXOs enable efficient transaction processing and validation, contributing to the scalability of blockchain network. And by organizing transactions into discrete units, that is UTXOs, the network can handle a large number of transactions without sacrificing performance. And so far as privacy is concerned, UTXOs enhance privacy by enabling users to manage their funds more discreetly. And since each UTXO represents a specific amount of cryptocurrency that is associated with a unique address, it provides a degree of anonymity by obscuring transaction details. And so far as flexibility is concerned, UTXOs offer flexibility in construction transactions, allowing users to combine multiple UTXOs to fund a transaction or split a UTXO to send funds to multiple recipients, and this flexibility, guys, enables various transaction types and use cases within the blockchain network. Now, so far simplified accounting is concerned, guys, UTXOs simplify accounting and auditing process, and they do that by providing a clear record of transaction history. And it's really important to note, guys, that each UTXO represents a discrete unit of currency, making it easier to track funds and verify transactions on the blockchain. So look, as overall UTXOs contribute to robustness, efficiency, and privacy of blockchain network, making them a fundamental concept in the decentralized system. Now look, guys, there is more to UTXOs, because by analyzing UTXOs in Bitcoin transactions, they can provide insights into user psychological behavior in several ways. And this is what a lot of traders and a lot of so-called analysts tend to use. And by analyzing UTXO, guys, you can find out the spending patterns, transaction clustering, address reuse, coin mixing and privacy services, risk assessment, and investor sentiment. So let me go ahead and touch base on all of these points, guys, because when you talk about Bitcoin at a technical level, these are some really cool, at the same time really challenging areas. Now, so far spending patterns is concerned, by examining the timing and frequency of UTXO spends, analysts, guys, can gain insights into user spending habits and even form patterns. For example, guys, let's say frequent spending of small UTXOs may actually indicate a more active and transaction-oriented user, while infrequent spending of large UTXOs may suggest a more conservative or long-term holding strategy. And so far as transaction clustering is concerned, guys, UTXOs can be clustered based on common spending patterns or transactional behaviors, and clustering techniques can help identify groups of UTXOs that are associated with specific user behaviors or entities, providing a more granular understanding of how different users interact with Bitcoin blockchain. Now, so far as address reuse is concerned, guys, monitoring UTXOs can reveal whether users practice address reuse or employ new address for each transactions. Now, address reuse, guys, can actually indicate a lack of privacy-conscious behavior, as it indicates the traceability of transactions and compromise users' anonymity. Now, so far as coin mixing and privacy services concerned, guys, analyzing UTXO flaws can help identify the use of coin mixing or privacy ensuring services. And these services, guys, that is coin mixing or privacy services, aim to obfuscate the ownership and transaction history of UTXOs, isn't it? But patterns in UTXO movements may still provide clues about user behavior and intentions. Now look, guys, based on these points, you can definitely say that Bitcoin is probably the most purest form of money, isn't it? Now let me touch base on risk assessment as well, because UTXO analysis, guys, can actually aid in risk assessment and compliance efforts by identifying suspicious or anomalous transaction behavior. For example, guys, large UTXO consolidation followed by rapid spending may raise red flags for potential money laundering or illicit activity. And so far as investment sentiment is concerned, changes in UTXO distribution and behavior may reflect shifts in investor sentiment or even market dynamics. For instance, guys, a large accumulation of UTXOs by long-term holders may signal confidence in Bitcoin's long-term prospects, while a rapid increase in spending may indicate profit-taking or uncertainty. So overall, guys, analyzing UTXOs may provide valuable insights into Bitcoin users' behavior, preferences, and motivations, enabling researchers, analysts, and regulators to better understand monetary activity on the blockchain. Now look, guys, I'm just giving out very basic level information regarding UTXOs. Now if you do need any further consultation, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now guys, let's talk about Lightning Network and Liquid Network. And look, guys, I've noticed this. A lot of people in the Bitcoin world are also not aware about it. They're definitely aware about what Lightning Network is. So what I want to do is, guys, I want to go ahead and explain the core features of Lightning Network and also the use cases, and I'll try to do the same for Lightning Network and Liquid Network. Now so far as Lightning Network is concerned, guys, let me go ahead and touch base on 4 core features, that is payment channels, multi-hop payments, instant transactions, and reduced fees. Now so far as payment channels is concerned, Lightning Network operates through a network of payment channels that are established between users, and these channels enable participants to conduct multiple transactions off-chain without requiring every transaction to be recorded on the main Bitcoin blockchain. And the classic example, guys, I can think of is, let's say if I go to a bar, and if I were to open up a tab, I can keep on making transactions, and then at the end of the day, I go ahead and close the transaction, isn't it? So far as Lightning Network is concerned, what I can do is I can open up a channel with someone who I want to go ahead and send, and then, guys, once the channel is open, we can go ahead and do back and forth transaction, and after the numerous transaction is done, we can go ahead and close the channel, and only then that information gets recorded on Bitcoin blockchain. Now so far as multiple hop payments is concerned, Lightning Network allows for payments to be routed through multiple channels across network, enabling users to transact with parties they don't have a direct channel with. And so far as instant transactions is concerned, transactions on Lightning Network, guys, are almost instantaneous, offering a significant improvement in transaction speed compared to traditional on-chain Bitcoin transactions. And so far as reduced fees is concerned, since transactions on Lightning Network occur off-chain and don't require minus fees for each transaction, guys, the fees associated with Lightning transactions are significantly lower than, let's say, on-chain Bitcoin transaction. Now so far as use cases is concerned, guys, regarding Lightning Network, let me go ahead and touch base on 3 core areas, that is microtransactions, scalable payments, and payment channels for businesses. Now so far as microtransactions is concerned, guys, Lightning Network opens up possibilities for microtransactions, allowing users to pay for tiny amounts for digital content, services, or even physical goods without being burdened by high transaction fees. Now look, guys, when Jack Dorsey was the CEO of Twitter, he did have intentions to go ahead and implement Lightning Network. Unfortunately, that thing did not materialize, but it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, if Elon Musk does go ahead and implement Lightning Network or something similar. Now so far scalable payments is concerned, by offloading a significant portion of transactions to Lightning Network, Bitcoin becomes more scalable, capable of handling a higher volume of transactions without congestion on the main blockchain. And so far as payment channel for businesses is concerned, guys, businesses can utilize Lightning Network to facilitate faster and cheaper transactions with customers and suppliers, thereby enhancing efficiency and reducing overall costs. Now look, guys, these are some basic level information regarding Lightning Network, but along with Lightning Network, we also have Liquid Network. Now if you do want to go ahead and get more information regarding Liquid Network or Lightning Network, what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, go to the blockchain website and you could read through the Liquid Network white paper and you can get loads of information. Now regarding Liquid Network, guys, let me go ahead and explain the core features and use cases. Now regarding core features, I'd like to very briefly touch base on 4 areas, that is confidential transactions, faster settlement, issued assets, and enhanced security. Now so far as confidential transactions is concerned, guys, Liquid Network supports confidential transactions where transaction amounts and asset types are obfuscated, thereby ensuring privacy for participants. And so far as settlement is concerned, you need to understand, guys, that transactions on Liquid Network are settled faster compared to on-chain Bitcoin transactions, making it ideal for high-frequency trading and liquidity management. And so far as issued assets is concerned, Liquid Network actually allows for creation and issuance of digital assets, including stablecoins and tokenized assets, thereby facilitating various financial instruments and applications. Now look guys, to be honest, this is definitely a niche area that you need to look into, because you can definitely do quite a lot of things with Liquid Network. And so far security is concerned guys, the Lightning Network employs a federation-based consensus mechanism, thereby providing enhanced security and resilience compared to traditional centralized system. Now so far as use case is concerned, let me very briefly touch base on only 3 areas, because I'm pretty much sure guys, you can go ahead and brainstorm in this and you can come up with different use cases. So I'd like to very briefly touch base on inter-exchange transfers, tokenized assets, and confidential transactions for businesses. Now so far as inter-exchange transfers is concerned, exchanges and trading platforms can leverage Liquid Network to facilitate rapid transfers of digital assets between each other, thereby reducing counterparty risk and improving liquidity. And so far as issuance of tokenized assets is concerned guys, the issuance of tokenized assets on Liquid Network opens up the opportunities for creating digital representation of real-world assets such as securities, commodities, or even fiat currencies, thereby enabling more efficient trading and settlement. And so far as confidential transaction for business is concerned, businesses operating in industries where privacy is paramount, such as let's say finance and enterprise, they can utilize Liquid Network for confidential and secure transactions, thereby safeguarding sensitive financial information. So essentially guys, when you talk about Lightning Network and Liquid Network, each offer unique solutions to different challenges faced by Bitcoin and also by blockchain technology. While Lightning Network focuses on enabling fast and cheap transactions for individuals and small businesses, Liquid Network caters to needs for larger institutions and enterprises, providing features such as confidentiality and rapid settlement for high-value transactions and asset transfers. And together guys, these networks contribute to evolution and expansion of blockchain ecosystem, making it more scalable, efficient, and privacy-preserving. So those were some level information guys regarding Lightning Network and Liquid Network. Now guys, let me go ahead and touch base on Taproot and Snort Signature, because their role is to enhance privacy and efficiency in cryptocurrency transactions. And in the dynamic landscape of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency guys, innovation is absolutely paramount to address scalability, privacy, and efficiency concerns, isn't it? And Taproot and Snort Signature guys emerges as groundbreaking developments promising to enhance functionality and security of blockchain network, notably Bitcoin. Now it's really important to note guys that Satoshi Nakamoto wanted to go ahead and implement Taproot and Snort Signature, but I believe it was patented, and the patent got I believe around 2018. So Taproot and Snort Signature was implemented on Bitcoin blockchain going back to 2020. So let me go ahead and explain what Snort Signature is, and then we'll go ahead and look at Taproot. Now so far Snort Signature is concerned guys, it is named after mathematician Klaus Peter Snort, and it offers a more efficient alternative to traditional ECDSA, also called as elliptic curve digital signature algorithm that is used in Bitcoin. But when it comes to Snort Signature guys, unlike ECDSA, which requires multiple signature verification for multi-signature transaction, Snort Signature enables the aggregation of multi-signatures into a single one. And this aggregation guys not only reduces the size of transactions, but also enhances privacy for obscuring the identities of participants. So the aggregation property of Snort Signature guys fosters the implementation of complex smart contracts with multi-party transactions with improved scalability and reduced bloat. Moreover guys, Snort Signature mitigates certain types of attacks such as malleability issues, which has plagued Bitcoin transactions in the past, isn't it? Now regarding malleability guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is go to Bitcoin Cash. They did actually put out videos how you could actually go ahead and double spend, but now because Snort Signature is implemented, that thing cannot happen. Now so far as Taproot is concerned guys, Taproot builds upon the foundation by Snort Signatures, introducing a mechanism for enhancing privacy and flexibility in Bitcoin transactions. And at its core guys, Taproot enables the creation of smart contracts that appear indistinguishable from regular transactions, thereby preserving privacy without compromising functionality. And one of the key features of Taproot guys is its ability to aggregate multiple spending conditions into a single public key, also called as Merkle's abstract syntax tree, also called as MAST or MAST. And this aggregation optimizes space on the blockchain by ensuring that only conditions relevant to spending path are revealed, thereby reducing transaction size and improving efficiency. Furthermore guys, Taproot introduces the concept of scriptless script, thereby enabling the execution of complex smart contracts off-chain while settling transactions on-chain. Now at this point of time guys, you know that Bitcoin's programming language is script, isn't it? Now so far as this innovation is concerned, not only does it enhance scalability, but Taproots also facilitate the adoption of privacy-enhanced technologies such as CoinJoin and Lightning Network, without sacrificing security or transparency. So far as impact and implication is concerned, guys, the integration of Taproot as now signature into Bitcoin protocol holds profound implications for the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. Beyond enhancing privacy and scalability, guys, these innovations pave the way for development of more sophisticated decentralized dApps, also called as dApps, and financial instruments, ushering in a new era of innovation and adoption in blockchain space. Now look, guys, the only reason why ordinal inscriptions is actually taking place in Bitcoin blockchain is because of the implementation of Taproot and Snow's signature, isn't it? Moreover, guys, Taproot and Snow's signature reinforces Bitcoin position as an even more robust and resilient store of value, further solidifying its status as a premier currency in the digital asset landscape. So when you talk about Taproot and Snow's signature, guys, you can actually state that they actually represent significant milestones in the evolution of Bitcoin and blockchain technology by addressing scalability and privacy concerns while improving efficiency and functionality. These innovations propel the cryptocurrency ecosystem towards a more secure, inclusive, and decentralized future. Now, guys, towards the end, let me go and explain what ordinal inscriptions are. And you can also say that ordinal inscriptions are kind of like ancient tablets to modern systems, isn't it? And ordinal inscriptions, guys, is the art of arranging items in a sequential order, and they have played a pivotal role throughout human history, from ancient civilization to modern societies. And this serves as a fundamental tool for organizing, categorization, and understanding. And guys, in ancient times, ordinal inscriptions were etched in stone tablets, clay tablets, or paper scrolls, providing a tangible record of numerical sequence. And these inscriptions, guys, held significant and administrative importance, serving as inventories, records of transactions, or even sacred texts. And guys, in the digital age, ordinal inscriptions have transcended physical mediums, proliferating across various platforms and databases, from let's say file directories to web pages. And guys, numerical ordering simplifies data retrieval and enhances user experience as well. So let me go ahead and explain, guys, ordinal inscriptions in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the pioneering cryptocurrency and it operates on a distributed or decentralized ledger system known as blockchain. And at the core of Bitcoin, guys, blockchain is a chronological sequence of blocks, with each block containing a set of transactions, isn't it? Now, while Bitcoin transactions don't inherently possess ordinal inscriptions, like say traditional documents or autographs, the arrangements of transaction, guys, with the help of blocks and the subsequent incorporation into blockchain establishes an implicit order. So let me go ahead and explain the transaction ordering within blocks. And when Bitcoin transactions are broadcasted to the network, guys, they are collected by miners who then bundle them up into blocks for validation and inclusion in the blockchain, isn't it? Now, while miners have discretion over the selection and arrangement of transactions within block, there are certain conventions and strategies they typically follow, and that is, let's say, fee-based priority, transaction size, and transaction dependencies. Now, so far as fee-based priority is concerned, guys, miners often prioritize transactions with high fees, as these incentivize miners to include them in the next block. And because of that, guys, transactions offering higher fees are usually processed sooner, resulting in a de facto prioritization based on transaction fees. Now, so far as transaction size is concerned, large transactions occupy more space within blocks, potentially impacting the inclusion of other transactions. And miners in certain cases may optimize block space by selecting smaller transactions or employing techniques like transactions batching to maximize throughput. Now, so far as transaction dependencies is concerned, guys, some transactions depend on confirmation of previous transactions, particularly in the context of complex smart contracts or multi-party transactions, and miners must consider these dependencies when ordering transactions within blocks to go ahead and ensure the integrity and consistency of the blockchain. Now, so far as ordinal inscription is concerned, guys, there are certain implications, and while Bitcoin transactions themselves don't carry explicit ordinal inscriptions, the ordering of the transactions within blocks and the subsequent arrangements of blocks in blockchain establishes a chronological order of transaction activity, and this impact ordering, guys, plays a crucial role in determining transaction finality, as transactions confirmed early in the blockchains are considered more secure and even immutable, to be honest. And moreover, guys, ordinal inscription influences the propagation and validation of transactions across the network, and nodes and participants rely on established order of transactions with blocks to verify the integrity of blockchain and detect any anomalies or inconsistencies. Now look, guys, Bitcoin ordinals has definitely taken the world by storm, and I do specifically remember in January of 2023, the number of ordinal inscriptions was 10,000, and in just a matter of few months, they did actually bump up to 100,000. then it reached to millions, and few days ago on my Crypto and Coffee 88 podcast, I did actually state that over 65 million ordinal inscriptions have been put up on the Bitcoin blockchain, and so far as the miners are concerned, they have received an additional fee of well over $500 million. I believe it was $545 million. Now look guys, ordinal inscriptions do have certain consideration, and as Bitcoin continues to evolve, considerations around transactions ordering and block constructions may become more nuanced, and innovations such as Lightning Network, Snow's signature, and Taproot introduces new possibilities for transaction batching, aggregation, and smart contract execution, potentially reshaping the dynamics of transaction ordering within the blocks. So look guys, while Bitcoin transactions themselves may not possess ordinal inscriptions in the traditional sense, the ordering of transactions within blocks and the subsequent arrangement of blocks in blockchain definitely establishes a chronological sequence, and that underpins the integrity and security of the network. Now the next point guys might seem to be a bit technical, so let me go ahead and explain how ordinal inscriptions offer several benefits with the UTXO model, and I'd like to touch base on three areas guys. That is efficiency, privacy, and flexibility. Now look guys, this might sound technical. If you do need any consultation guys, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now so far as efficiency is concerned, by aggregating multiple signatures into a single compact signature, ordinal inscription reduces the size of multi-signature transactions, and this efficiency guys leads to lower transaction fees and more efficient use of block space within the UTXO model. And so far as privacy is concerned, ordinal inscriptions help preserve the privacy of parties involved in multiple signature, and by combining signatures in a way that hides individual signing keys and transaction details, ordinal inscription enhances the confidentiality of transactions within the UTXO model. And so far as flexibility is concerned, the use of ordinal inscription guys provides flexibility in creating complex spending conditions and smart contracts within the UTXO model, and this flexibility aligns with scripting capabilities that was actually introduced by Taproot, allowing for creation of more sophisticated transactions while maintaining efficiency and privacy. So essentially guys, in summary, ordinal inscriptions are closely connected to UTXO model in Bitcoin, particularly in the context of multi-signature transactions, and by enabling efficient, private, and flexible multi-signature schemes, ordinal inscriptions enhances the security and usability of Bitcoin within the UTXO model, thereby contributing to its continued growth and adoption. So let me know guys, what are your thoughts on regarding UTXO model? Now look guys, these are some basic level information regarding Bitcoin, and I always say this guys, the more you understand what Bitcoin is, you will truly understand what Bitcoin is not. And as and when we get into the rabbit hole of Bitcoin guys, you truly want to question if there is a need or use case of Ethereum or so-called blockchain technology. Now look guys, me personally, I'm not a fan of Web 3.0, and I've often said this guys, Web 3 is a terminology used by CEOs, CTOs, and founders to get more funding from the project, and truth be told guys, I don't see any use case of Web 3.0, and you always need to remember guys, when you talk about newer systems, newer industries, or new technology, are they offering a 10x better user experience in comparison to what you're currently offering? Now when you talk about Bitcoin guys, is it offering a 10x better user experience than fiat currencies? 100% yes, I would even say 25 times more, and looks like Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of separation of money in the state might eventually happen, but it might take a couple of decades. Now regarding this episode guys, if you do have any feedback or suggestion, or want to go ahead and add any commentary, drop them in the comments below, or drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So thanks so much for listening guys, and have a nice one. Bye bye.